Trade deadline's tomorrow, right? Because there has been
Tomorrow,
some.
Tuesday, yeah. By the time you're listening to this, it'll probably be a couple hours away. It's going to be, I think it's 4 o'clock Eastern on Tuesday, the 31st.
Why do they always put it at 4 o'clock Eastern? Like, I understand it's where the offices and everything are, but 4 o'clock Eastern, does that help everybody?
I mean, I
Just
feel
make
like
sure it's noon everywhere.
I feel like it should be 5 o'clock Eastern because that's when normal business hours stop. But I think they do it at 4 o'clock to give the extra hour for paperwork to be finalized.
Okay, that makes sense.
Because like the trade deadline ends at 4, but the paperwork still can take a while. So a lot of times the paperwork will get sent into the league offices at like 4:59, and then it still has to process. So there are some things that can go through at the end
So
of
I
the
guess
week.
these teams just didn't want to make sure they just want to make sure the paperwork went through way too early because we got some teams they already got some trades going through. The Eagles traded defensive lineman Contavious Street and a 2025 seventh round pick to the Falcons for only a 2024 sixth round pick. Now, Grady Jarrett's out for the year now down there in Atlanta, so I understand the need for that right now, but wasn't much there. The Eagles just have a very impressive defensive line, so that doesn't really bother them too much. It feels like the only other
The
trade
Eagles are apparently looking for a defensive end for more pass rushing help as well. That's surprised the heck out of me, but that's what the reports are saying.
the rich get richer, man. The only other trade I really saw was the Giants trading Pro Bowler defensive lineman Leonard Williams to the Seahawks for a 2024 second round pick and a 25 fifth round pick. So not much going on so far with the eve of the trade deadline, but
That's an
could all
odd
change up.
trade. What he can't have much left on his contract if that's all they got out for him. I don't mind getting the second round, but a second and a fifth, you should for the way pass rushers are going these days, especially a Pro Bowler. Even though the Pro Bowl doesn't mean a whole lot at most positions, it does at defensive line. Um, that is surprising that they only got an additional fifth out of that.
I
He's
think
got
the
to have
Giants are just trying to
nothing
dump
left.
dump some stuff right now.
He's got to have nothing left on his contract because that plays a big portion into it too. There are some additional rumors going on, some running backs that could have been moving. Saquon Barkley, very surprising that he will not be moved off of, especially with 1 year left on his contract. Well, I mean, not
Rest of
only
this
just
year.
one, yeah, the rest of this season. He's got this season that he just signed in the offseason when they had franchise tagged him. They were also talking about Derrick Henry from Tennessee potentially going to the Ravens or down to Dallas and playing for the Cowboys
I heard a lot for
because
Philly too.
I know they've been looking for some running back help. I had heard a few rumors, but I didn't think it was that strong. I know Baltimore needs running back help, and then so does Dallas. They don't know how to run a one running back system. Now that it's just up to Tony Pollard, they really don't have anybody to help him out. But that seems to be unlikely, as most teams are going to be wanting to give him an additional contract. He's probably still going to garner a larger portion of that, and um, the deadline for adding on to the contracts, at least in his case, it was built into his contract. He won't be re-signing an extension. I believe it was past like Friday or Saturday. So unlikely to see him be traded. Um, you could no, they won't be cutting him either. The Broncos are still apparently up for debate on whether they're having a fire sale or not. It was reported earlier today, Monday, by Sean Payton that nobody was up for sale after everybody was just up for sale. It seems like a little
Crazy
recency
what one
bias
win can
is
do for you.
you get one win, everybody plays great, quote unquote, and then nobody is up for sale. Quite odd. Nobody believed, I think, Patrick Surtain the second was up for uh, being traded, but if somebody had offered probably two first, they might have parted ways.
It would
Um,
have been like low first for him. At least one low first.
uh, if anybody was going to be serious, if they were actually going to part ways with him, it would have been two first or a high first and probably a second. That is one of the premier great defensive talents in the league. You're not walking away with pennies on the dollar for him. We do know that the Eagles could be looking still, like Sean just mentioned, to bring in an additional running back. Also, they could be looking at bringing in a corner, potentially a slot corner, even though they just brought in Evan Byard as well. It looks like Howie Roseman is looking for some additional pieces to continue getting rich on the East Coast. Doesn't make sense, man. They're also going to end up with contractual and cap issues, and they just seem to like he seems to be able to work it better than Veach.
He just gets the trades and somehow so well.
Big piece of news we haven't really talked about it, but I know it's been talked about around the NFL and some insiders. The commies could be looking to move off one of their two young pass rushers, either Montez Sweat or Chase Young.
I've heard some rumors of Chase Young going to the Bears, actually, of all teams.
Of all teams.
They would help the Bears out.
It would. It would. It really would, I think, hinder the commies. Though Chase Young has not necessarily been a strong portion of their plans since coming back from injury, because I think he still deals with some injury issues. So surprising to see what could be done there. And sometimes a change of scenery really does help out some players. Though Chicago probably isn't the place for anyone at the moment.
I mean, if you're playing defense, you'll be fine in Chicago. It's just offensive players that struggle.
Another big piece here. I think I just missed it. Where'd it go? Oh yeah, the maybe one of the biggest pieces of all, and the last piece that we'll kind of cover here. But Kyler Murray is no longer up for sale in Arizona, which means that they are going to be out of the Caleb Williams saga. He is officially back, although we do not know if he will be playing this Sunday. He has had a week plus of full participating practice. His 21-day window is still open to come off from the PUP list. They have not designated him yet for return, but Jonathan Gannon, the head coach of the Arizona Cardinals, has stated that it will either be him or some rookie,
Clayton Tune.
Clayton Tune, will be the starter for this week. So we'll have yet to see if Kyler is fully healthy, but the Cardinals are 100% out of the Caleb Williams saga.
They say that now, but if Kyler comes back and struggles the rest of this year, they may go ahead and try to trade him at the end of the year. If a team comes not calling, like, you can't turn that down.
No, you can't. But if he is struggling, then his trade value is very diminished. And your chances of getting up into the number one pick, over. It's done. You can't. He's not going. Whoever, and it's not going to be Chicago. I don't believe.
Well, I mean,
Chicago
they may
is going to
still
get Caleb
they may
Williams.
still have the best chance of getting the number one pick if they keep losing, though.
Yeah, I mean, are they at one win?
They have one win.
They're still
Panthers
at
have
one win.
win
So
now too.
yeah, they're in it. I guess they are in it. I never thought about that. Although I don't see the way that Jonathan Gannon has been coaching this season. I don't expect for him to be going for the number one pick. They will not be tanking unless Kyler Murray just doesn't step foot on the field.
I mean, they're still not that good, anyways.
They're not, and they don't have a lot of help. But Kyler is also great friends with Hollywood Brown, and I don't expect. And Kyler is a competitor. I don't expect Kyler to walk out there and be ready to give up on any game that he plays in, regardless if anybody thinks he's actually good or not. Because he's not. He's not bad. He has shown us that he can be one of the premier quarterbacks, as long as he does have some help around him, which every quarterback needs. We're seeing it with Patrick Mahomes right now. Quarterbacks need talent around him. If he's got some help, Kyler Murray can be a good quarterback. He also didn't have a very competent head coach. There are a lot of things to be said about Cliff Kingsbury, and being a good coach at any level is not one of them.
Another funny thing about Kyler Murray is I saw there was a lot of rumors. I know you just laid them to rest, but of Kyler Murray going to the Vikings. Now, since that situation is out the table,
That's true. Yep.
a lot of other rumors that are out there now that Kirk
Jameis
Cousins is
Winston.
out for the year. J Boogie, Jameis Winston, man. Can you just imagine him throwing a 98-yard bomb to Justin Jefferson? The very next drive, throw a 60-yard pick six. Like that's the beauty of Jameis Winston.
I don't see realistically Justin Jefferson coming back this season. I
I
think it'd be interesting to see Jabo up there in the north. He does not. He is a Florida boy who is playing in Louisiana. He even though it's in a dome, I don't see him transitioning to that well, especially seeing who's the head coach up there in Minnesota. I don't even know his
Kevin
name.
O'Connell.
Kevin O'Connell. Dude is not good. He's great offensive coordinator. I think he is a fantastic offensive coordinator. As far as a team head coach, I don't. He's better than Kevin Stefanski, but at this point, who isn't?
You got a point there. I mean, Vikings were making a come around this year a little bit. They started
They
off
were
rough,
they were
but
definitely turning it around.
Kirk was looking damn good this year.
But
I feel really bad for him.
well, he looked damn good because they had to pass on every down because they were always down. They were always down. The head
They
coach
just
didn't
scored
know how
that
to
first
balance.
rushing touchdown of the season this week, so it was all on Kirk. All
No
on
wonder
Kirk.
he popped his Achilles. Now he can go rehab with Aaron.
I don't think he's down for the stuff Aaron does.
Probably not.